You know hundreds of words, you've done the flashcards, you've maybe even passed a HSK exam, but the moment someone speaks Mandarin to you, it's like your brain just freezes up. If that's you, I want you to watch this video right through to the end. In this video, I'm going to be giving you a speaking diagnostic, 4 bottlenecks that are holding you back from speaking Mandarin fluently, and I'm going to tell you exactly what to do about them. This isn't just another talk more video. Talking more only really helps when you know why you're stuck. Over my years of teaching and learning Mandarin, I've noticed that there are 4 bottlenecks when it comes to speaking that come up again and again. Number 1, retrieval speed. You know the word, but it takes you ages to actually come up with it on the spot and recall it. Number 2, sentence formulation. You can't build a sentence quick enough in real time. Number 3, confidence and pressure. You struggle to speak the moment someone's actually in front of you waiting for an answer. Number 4, muscle memory. Your tones and your rhythm and your pronunciation fall apart the moment you try and speak too fast. Up to number 1, retrieval speed. This is when you know the word. If someone were to show you it on a flashcard, you'd be able to get it instantly. But in a conversation, you're just unable to get it off the tip of your tongue and kind of pull it from memory fast. And this gap is exactly what makes conversation in Mandarin feel exhausting as opposed to natural and fluid. The fix: active recall, not recognition. Rereading and re-listening, these kind of passive activities, they're training you to recognize, understand and decode the language, not to recall it under pressure. But things like speaking drills, making sentences with words and chunks that you're learning, quizzing yourself out loud, these all train recall and your retrieval under pressure. This is exactly why I'm building the Chunking Chinese Fluency Trainer. It's designed around active recall and construction of sentences in new contexts using chunks that you've already learned, not just a simple flashcard recognition. And these are exactly the kind of skills that you need to be building in order to speak the language fluently. Chapter number 2, sentence formulation. Even once you've retrieved the word and learn how to retrieve it quickly under pressure, you've still got to build a grammatically correct sentence around it in real time under pressure while someone's looking at you waiting for an answer. And even more still, you've got to do that without translating directly from English. This is where I see a lot of learners struggle. They freeze up and then they revert back to translating one word at a time from English to Mandarin. And trust me, that doesn't really work too well. The fix here is to stop just learning individual words. Obviously, improving your vocabulary is a very valuable thing to do, but you also need to be learning chunks and sentence patterns, as these are the real building blocks of Mandarin and allow you to actually bypass the need to explicitly learn loads and loads of grammar rules. They're like pre-built patterns that you can just slot vocabulary in and out of in order to express loads of ideas really quickly and easily. And once you've got it to the point where you've internalized a chunk or a pattern such that it's automatic, then all you're doing is just swapping things in and out, so you're no longer building a sentence in your head from scratch anymore, and you certainly have no need to translate word to word anymore. This is the whole idea behind my free chunking PDFs. Chapter 3, confidence and pressure. You can speak absolutely fine when you're alone, you're talking to yourself, you're talking to AI, or you're speaking to a patient, tutor or friend. But the moment it's a real social situation in person, that's when things start to go wrong. I remember 4 months after learning Mandarin, I was able to have pretty okay conversations with my really patient friend from secondary school. But as soon as I moved to Manchester and started university and started having real conversations with native speakers in real life, I suddenly realised that pressure was getting to me. It was like a whole different ball game. I would find that my mind would go blank all the time and it was really embarrassing. If you're experiencing something similar to that kind of situation right now, here's exactly what you can do to fix it. You need to find a way of simulating the pressure in order to kind of train your nervous system to get used to that. So what you can do is record yourself talking to a camera. You can do timed speaking challenges. And these kind of camera tricks, or, a bit of time pressure, it's not about the recording and it's not about the time. It's just about that little bit of a push that kind of trains your nervous system to perform under that pressure before you're even experiencing it in real life. And that really makes real conversations feel less of a jump. Chapter 4, mouth muscle memory. Your tones and your rhythm, They're absolutely fine when you're speaking very carefully and you're thinking carefully about every single character that's coming out of your mouth. But when things start to speed up and you have less time to think, well, that's when things start to fall apart. And it's really simple. It's because you haven't quite built the muscle memory yet, such that your mouth is able to keep up with your brain. And the fix here again is lots of imitation practice. So I really like to recommend doing sentence by sentence imitation. And I would do this daily. It's like physical training to kind of get your mouth used to making the sounds at native speed. It's a bit like an athlete drilling a movement until it becomes automatically. I'm a big fan of basketball, and to get good at basketball shooting, you literally just have to practice shooting from the same spot time and time and time and time again until it's automatic, so that no matter the situation, you can do it without thinking. Although I'm not quite at that level yet, I must admit. So this speed, it comes from repetition and not necessarily from just understanding grammar rules better. I want you to pause the video right now and be really honest with yourself. Which of these bottlenecks is holding you back? Most people assume it's just a case of not having enough vocabulary, and that's the whole reason that they're struggling to speak. And let me tell you, 9 times out of 10, that is definitely not the case. It's more of a case that you're not able to use the vocabulary and you haven't learned in chunks, so that you're not able to construct the sentences that you need in order to speak confidently. But let me tell you this, knowing the fixes that I've shared in this video, it's just simply not enough, because you've got to be actually able to implement them in your routine. And to do that, you need to make it so easy that you'll actually do it. So I want you to think about how you can make the fix for your bottleneck as easy as possible, so that there's no way you can convince yourself not to do it. So for example, if it were me and I was struggling with, let's go back to the performance under pressure, the confidence and the pressure bottleneck, I would set myself the challenge of recording myself speaking Mandarin to a camera 5 minutes a day. And that would be a good place to start, and over time that will become a habit. Now, as a starting point, I've got 3 homework tasks for you that I want you to go away and give a go. The first is 10 minutes a day of active recall. A great place to start is Anki to do that. And I want you to make new sentences out loud with the words and the chunks that you're learning, and not just to passively reread them. Number 2 is 10 minutes a day of line-by-line sentence imitation. Now, if you haven't done this before, I would highly recommend you go and check out my Speak With Me playlist for this, as this will really help you and kind of guide you through the process. And then number 3, record yourself for 5 minutes a day speaking Mandarin about different topics. By the way, if retrieval speed or sentence formulation are your bottlenecks, then I'd highly recommend you go and check out my free chunking Chinese PDFs, and also the 7-day free email course that goes along with that to kind of guide you through the process. So fixing these 4 bottlenecks is what separates learners who know Mandarin and who can actually use it in a real life conversation. But speaking practice is only one part of the puzzle. If you want to know the full picture, the full system of how to fit together speaking practice, pronunciation, listening, and a few more pieces, then I would highly recommend you go and check out this video next and learn my complete system for learning Mandarin to fluency. I'll see you inside.